Welcome to Business Technology Platform User Management. Let's learn how to manage users and security in SAP BTP. This means controlling who can access your cloud applications and what they are allowed to do. For example, you could grant a developer access to build an app but restrict them from viewing customer data. Mastering this is essential for protecting your business applications and data. Proper security protects your solution and data. This means setting up user roles and access so only authorized people can view or change your systems. For example, only HR staff should access employee salary data in your HR application. This prevents breaches and keeps your business information safe. You will control who can access what in your applications. This means managing permissions so only authorized users see specific data or functions. For example, allowing HR staff to view salary data while restricting other departments. Proper user management ensures your applications remain secure and functional for everyone who needs them. We will use the BTP cockpit for all our security setup. This means we manage all access controls through one central web interface. For instance, you can grant developers access to specific development tools while restricting financial data visibility. This unified approach ensures consistent and efficient security management across your BTP environment. Today we will explore the key learning objectives. Create and manage user accounts. This means setting up employee access to SAP systems by adding users, assigning roles, and updating permissions as needed. For example, when a new developer joins your team, you create their account so they can log in and access development tools. Properly managing these accounts ensures your team has the right tools to work efficiently and securely. We will cover Setup role collections and permissions. This means grouping access rights for users, like giving a team specific tools. For instance, assigning finance staff roles to only view reports, not modify data. Proper setup ensures users have exactly the access they need to perform their jobs securely and efficiently. Configure security policies means setting up rules to protect your applications and data. For example, you might create a policy requiring multi-factor authentication for all users accessing financial data. This ensures only authorized personnel can view sensitive information. Properly configuring these policies is essential for maintaining a secure SAP BTP environment. Test user access to make sure everything works. This means verifying that the application or service you built is correctly configured for your end users to log in and use it. For instance, after setting up a new reporting app, you would try logging in with a colleague's account to confirm they can see the correct data. It is a crucial final step before going live. Locating user management in the BTP cockpit. Log into your BTP cockpit. This means accessing the central web-based administration interface for SAP BTP using your credentials. For example, a developer enters their company email and password to begin setting up cloud applications. This initial step is essential for accessing all user management features. Go to your global account. This is your central entry point in BTP, where you oversee all your resources. For example, if your company has separate development and production environments, you manage both from this single starting view. This first step is essential for accessing and controlling user permissions across your entire BTE landscape. Click on Security in the left menu. This means selecting the security option from the navigation panel to access user management tools. For example, if you need to add a new team member to your development account, you start here. This is your first step to securely manage who can access your applications and services. Select Users to see all current users. This means you click the Users option to display a list of everyone with access to your account. For example, as an administrator, you can quickly find all team members and their assigned roles. This is your central place to manage who has access to your applications and services. Creating your first user account. Click Create User button. This action initiates the process to add a new person to your SAP BTP system, allowing them access. For instance, when a new developer joins your team, you click this to set up their credentials. This straightforward step is your starting point for managing user access efficiently. Enter the user's email address. This is the unique identifier for the person you are adding to the system. For example, when adding a new employee, you would input their company email like jane.doe@yourcompany.com. This step ensures the user can receive their login credentials securely. Add the user's first and last name. This means you must enter the individual's personal names exactly as they are officially recorded. For example, if the person is John Smith, you would type John in the first name field and Smith in the last name field. This ensures the system accurately identifies each unique user. Click Create to save the new user. This finalizes the setup by storing all the entered details in the system, making the account active and ready for use. For instance, after filling in an employee's name and email during onboarding, clicking Create officially adds them. Always confirm this step to ensure the user is properly registered. Understanding role collections in SAP BTP. Role collections group permissions together. This means instead of assigning many individual permissions, you bundle them into one package for easier management. For example, you could create an invoice manager role collection containing all permissions needed to create and approve invoices. This single assignment approach makes user access control significantly simpler and more secure. Think of them as job roles or responsibilities. This means role collections group permissions needed for specific tasks, just like a job description outlines duties. For example, a developer role collection grants access to build apps but not approve budgets. Assigning the right role collections ensures users have exactly the access they need to perform their jobs effectively. Examples: developer, viewer, administrator. These are common role collections that group permissions. For instance, a viewer can only see reports but cannot change them, ensuring they access necessary data without risking modifications. This structure allows precise control over what each user can do within the system. Users get role collections, not individual permissions. This means permissions are bundled into groups for easier management. For instance, a finance user receives the finance analyst collection, granting all necessary access at once, rather than separate permissions for each task. This approach simplifies security and ensures users have everything they need to perform their duties effectively. Creating a role collection in SAP BTP. Go to Security Role Collections. This means navigating to the security section in your BTP cockpit to manage groups of authorizations. For example, you could create a support team role collection to grant all necessary troubleshooting permissions at once. This is your central place for efficiently managing user access. Click Create New Role Collection. This means you start by making a new set of permissions in SAP BTP. For instance, if you need a role for finance users to access reports, you would create one named finance_report_viewers. This initial step organizes and assigns access efficiently. Give it a clear name like Application Viewer. This means using descriptive names that immediately explain the role's purpose. For instance, if you are creating a role for users who only need to view sales reports, name it Sales Report Viewer. Clear naming ensures everyone understands access rights instantly, streamlining security management. Add description explaining what this role can do. This means you should clearly state the permissions and access this role grants. For example, for a sales analyst role, you could write, can view and export sales reports, but cannot modify customer data. This ensures users understand their capabilities before assignment, improving security and clarity. Adding permissions to role collections. Open your role collection. This means accessing the SAP BTP cockpit where you manage user authorizations. For example, if you are setting up a finance team, you open their specific role collection to add access to payment apps. This step is essential for securely granting the necessary permissions to your users. Click Add Role button. This action allows you to assign specific authorizations to the role collection. For example, to grant a user access to view sales reports, you would add the Sales Report Viewer role here. This is how you effectively manage and grant access within your applications. Choose the application you want to give access to. This means selecting the specific SAP BTP app, like a travel expense tool, that users need to use. For example, you would pick the Employee Travel Management app to grant employees permission to submit trip expenses. Assigning the correct application ensures users can perform their required tasks efficiently. Select the specific roles user needs. This means assigning only the permissions essential for a user's tasks, avoiding unnecessary access. For example, a financial analyst would need roles for viewing reports but not for HR hiring actions. This targeted approach ensures security and efficiency in your SAP BTP environment. Assigning roles to users for secure system access. Go back to Security Users. This means returning to the User Management area to continue assigning access. For example, after creating a new employee's user account, you return here to grant them the View Reports role. This step is essential for finalizing user permissions. Find the user you want to assign roles to. This means locating the specific individual in the system before granting them permissions. For instance, if Maria joins your team, you first search for her user ID. This initial step ensures that role assignments are accurately directed to the correct person, preventing access errors. Click on the user to see their details. This means selecting a specific user to view their profile and current permissions. For example, if you need to check what access Maria has before adding new roles, you would click her name first. This step ensures you always make informed role assignments based on accurate user information. Click Add Role Collection and choose from list. This means you select a predefined set of permissions to assign to a user. For example, you might choose the developer role collection to grant access to development tools. This straightforward step ensures users have the exact access they need to perform their duties. Establishing robust security policies for your enterprise. Go to Security Trust Configuration. This is where you manage trusted connections between your SAP BTP applications and external identity providers. For example, to let employees log in using their company Google accounts, you would establish that trust here. Properly configuring this is essential for secure and seamless user access. Configure who can access your applications. This means defining user roles and permissions to control which individuals can use specific apps or data. For example, in a sales app, you might allow only managers to view sales forecasts while sales representatives can only update customer records. Properly setting this up ensures your business data remains secure and accessible only to authorized personnel. Set rules for password strength. This means defining requirements like minimum length and character types to prevent easy guessing. For example, require passwords to be at least 10 characters long and include uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Consistently applying these rules is fundamental to protecting user accounts. Define session timeout limits for safety. This means automatically logging users out after a period of inactivity to prevent unauthorized access. For example, a banking app could log a user out after 10 minutes if they leave their computer. This simple step is a fundamental defense for protecting user data. Initiating user access testing procedures. Log out of your admin account. This means you are securely ending your current administrator session. For instance, after setting up a new application, you would log out before testing it as a regular user. This ensures you can properly verify standard user permissions and access. Log in as the test user you created. This means accessing the system with the new user account you set up specifically for testing. For example, if you created a user named Tester, you would sign in using that account's credentials. This step ensures you verify the access rights from the user's perspective. Check what the user can see and access. This means verifying the specific data and functions available to a user based on their permissions. For example, a sales representative may only view customer accounts and sales orders, not financial reports. Ensuring this access is correct is essential for security and proper workflow. Verify they can perform their assigned tasks. This means checking that a user can successfully execute the specific actions their role requires. For example, a finance analyst with access to the reporting app must be able to run and export monthly reports. This practical test confirms the access configuration is correct and functional. Testing user access, Step 2. Try to access features the user should not have. This means actively testing whether a user can perform actions or view data outside their assigned permissions. For example, a regular employee tries to approve a purchase order, which only managers should do. This confirms the security setup is working correctly and prevents unauthorized access. Make sure restricted areas are properly blocked. This means ensuring unauthorized users cannot access sensitive parts of your SAP BTP application. For example, only HR staff should view employee salary data, not all employees. Properly configuring this protects confidential information and maintains security compliance in your cloud environment. Test all the permissions you assigned. This means verifying each user can perform only the actions you granted, like viewing or editing data. For instance, after giving a user read-only access to sales reports, confirm they can open but not modify the files. Ensuring this prevents unauthorized changes and secures your data effectively. Document any issues you find. This means you must clearly record any problems, like an error message or missing permission, during your access test. For example, if a user cannot view a sales report, note the exact error and the steps taken. This record is crucial for your support team to diagnose and resolve the problem efficiently. Implementing common security best practices. Give users only the access they need. This means assigning permissions strictly based on job roles, not granting broad system rights. For example, a developer should not have access to production financial data, only their development environment. Following this principle minimizes risk and protects your critical business information. Regularly review and update user roles. This means periodically checking that users have only the access they currently need for their job, removing old permissions. For example, when an employee moves from finance to sales, their old financial system access should be revoked. This ongoing process is fundamental to maintaining a secure and compliant environment. Remove access when users change jobs. This means immediately revoking old system permissions when an employee's role changes. For example, if a developer moves to a marketing role, their access to code repositories should be revoked to prevent unnecessary risk. This principle, known as least privilege, is fundamental to maintaining a secure environment. Use clear names for role collections. This means giving roles descriptive titles that instantly tell you their purpose. For example, name a role Warehouse Manager Access instead of just role_12. This clarity prevents errors when assigning permissions. Descriptive naming is a foundational step for secure and manageable access control. Security setup is now complete and operational. You can now create and manage BTP users. This means you have the administrative control to add people to your account and assign them specific access. For example, you could add a new developer and grant them permission only to view applications. This foundational step enables your team to work securely on the platform. You understand how to set up role collections. This means you can bundle specific system authorizations and assign them to users. For instance, you could create a financial analyst collection with access only to reporting apps. This foundational skill is key for governing access in your applications. You can configure security policies. This means setting rules to control who can access your app and what they can do. For example, you could create a policy allowing only managers to view salary data in an HR application. This ensures your applications are protected and compliant from the start. You know how to test that everything works correctly. This means you can run checks to confirm your security setup is active and protecting your application. For example, you would verify that only authorized users can access specific data in your app. This validation is a crucial final step for any project.